What is up, guys? It's Selka and welcome to the first weekly analysis of the year. So today we're going to take a look at cryptos, stocks, index, and commodities. So feel free to watch the video until the end if you want to be sure about the direction. So without further ado, let's get started. For Bitcoin, there's two ways to see the chart actually right now. But either way, we're aiming for a downside to come and retest the lows. All right, just for your information, I will tell you the two ways of reading this chart. The first one is that's the impulse, all right, and you have a three-wave correction right there, all right, which is a contracting flat, and this aims to come and break the lows one more time to complete this impulse. All right, so if that impulse is completed, then you have a correction right there, which is a slow move up like this. Then this correction means that we're gonna go and retest the lows one more time. So that's the first way of seeing this chart. Now the way I think you should see it is that this is your impulse and this is a true wave correction on its own. So this is the correction like this, and if that's the case, we're gonna come and retest the lows. So either way, we should come and retest the lows in the 4-hour chart and more. So this is a correction, just like this one was a correction. See that three-wave correction? This one was a running flat, just like this one was a correction that came and retested those lows, just like this one was a correction that came and retested those lows. It's the same thing. I think we're gonna retest it one more time before this starts to look like an end of a structure, before we get an impulse and a flag to come and have an uptrend in the daily chart. So until that, I'm still looking for that move, and I think it will happen pretty soon. So be careful of that. Now in the smaller time frame, what I see is that this is a small correction. All right, this is a small correction to complete the move. All right, so why I do think that this is a small correction to complete the move? Simply because if you want this move overall to come and retest the top one more time, then it needs to be a bigger correction. All right, so if that's something like this, now let me remove this one. If that's something like this and it keeps start pushing near this top and then come back down, then we'll think about this being an impulse, this being a true wave correction for another impulse. So we'll think about this one if we see the price reach higher highs like this. As long as it doesn't, I'm seeing this chart as this is an impulse, this is a true wave correction for that impulse. All right, and this true wave correction will come slowly and retest the lows, because you have that correction that is still waiting to break the lows. So because of that, there's higher chance of having this structure than the one that I showed previously that will come and retest the tops. So basically, you still keep in mind the 4-hour chart, which tells you to come and retest the lows. And also you got to keep in mind that this is a setup inbound. I think that this is right there a regular flat, which is a correction to come. This should come and break the top probably. So if it does happen, then at the breakout of the top, you should not be aping in, you should be in the sell, because this will most likely come back and retest the lows to complete this pattern. All right, so we've seen it already, especially this setup. All right, personally this setup looks clean. This is a true wave correction. This should come and retest the top. All right, just like it really reminds me of that one. So that one right there, it's almost the same one. So you see, you have an impulse, true wave correction, and when you bought that, you were careful at the top because you know that this was a correction for a downtrend. So this was a correction that will fall, and same thing right there. If you take this setup, be careful, because once this will break the top, this will probably come down and start the down move that you're looking for in the 4-hour chart. So remember, we're looking to sell for Bitcoin. Now Ethereum is cleaner, all right, for the 4-hour chart at least, because now you have this correction, which is pretty clean. So this is a regular flat, all right, and this correction should come and retest the lows. Now same thing for Ethereum. I think that this one is a 3-wave correction in preparation, so this should come and break the lows, and once the low is broken, you gotta be careful if you're in the sell, so take profits if the low is broken, simply because this move right there has some chance of being this an impulse and all this a correction. And if that's the case, you gotta be careful at this low, because as long as this low is not broken, this can go up at any time soon. So this can go like this, break the low, and then come back up, all right? And if it happens, it will go all the way through that top to complete this higher structure. So that's the 4-hour for Ethereum. And if it does break if it does come down like this and free fall to break that low, I don't think it will happen, but if it does that, then we're gonna go for a running flat, which is the one that doesn't break the top. So again, a 3-wave correction, but this one does not break the top before it falls again. So if we break the low, that's what we're going to go for. If not, we're gonna try to find buy setup in this zone, in this area, to ride the top until this top, right? So same thing for that little Bitcoin setup, by the way, the small one right there. If this doesn't go and comes and break the low, we're gonna go for a running flat instead, but I do think it will come and break the top, so I'll leave it right there. So yeah, let me just put some arrow in there so you guys will see it in the next weekly forecast. So something like this, all right, and then yep, and then go like this. Now Matic, I'll go pretty fast for the others, but this one, you have an up move right there, you got a 3-wave correction, and then another up move. So this can be a 3-wave correction for that drop right there that you had, and if that's the case, and I do think it's the case, you're gonna get a drop that will slowly come and retest the lows. So as of right now, there's a chance that this will happen, and that's what I'm looking for. So since you have the direction, you need to be careful on the smaller time frame whenever it's time to go for that move. So I think that because of that move, that up move, you will probably get another up move, all right, to complete the structure. So you got the direction in the bigger time frame. Now let's focus the smaller time frame, and you have that up move, all right, like this. You had that slow move down, then this somewhere right there, it will probably come and spike like this one, like it did right there, and then drop to break the lows. So I don't think it will break the top, but sometimes it can, but you should just focus on this up move and this drop, and this will probably be the start of the move that we're looking for, all right? So for this one, it's an up move, all right, like this, and then a drop, and that's the smaller time frame, but the bigger time frame is a drop to come and retest the lows as of right now, all right? So depending on how far this drop goes, it can lead to a different scenario, but for now, let's keep it right there since this is what will happen, all right? Now BNB, same thing as Matic. The structure is really similar. Like you have this impulse, this correction, which is not as clean as Matic, but you got another impulse, and this might be a regular flat because of the drop that you had before. So what this will lead to is a drop that will break the lows. So in bigger time frame, I'm looking for that drop. Now compared to Matic, the move, you already have it done. So you had a spike, you had a slow move down, then you got another spike before having a drop. So compared to Matic, which is waiting for that move, BNB already has it done, and it happened, all right? And as of right now, the next step is that you're looking for the drop to come and retest the lows, like I said. So the next step is looking for a setup to come and retest the low. And what I see from that point is I do think that this move will come like this, and spike up to complete a true wave correction for another drop. All right, so most of the time it will do something like this, and this will probably lead to come and break the low, but if it doesn't, then there will be a second correction before the drop. But either way, this will probably lead to the drop. So that's for BNB, small corrective part like this, and comes down. So for Link, this one has two scenarios. It's the ugliest one from the cryptos. I would not touch this one at all, and simply because this piece is too blurry right now, and you can have multiple scenarios. So either an up move to come and break the top before the drop, or the drop right now. All right, and because of those two scenarios being almost 50-50, since this structure is pretty ugly, you got to keep in mind that this is not the best asset to trade. Now what's obvious is that you're in the range in a corrective structure, and most of the time this being a corrective structure after a drop will lead to have another drop. All right, so just keep that in mind if you have some Link, or if you're trading Link. So this will probably come deeper down whenever Bitcoin will drop, or whenever the drop will happen. So I still think that this will come down. Now Hex, this one is a little bit different. You probably had that running flat right there. There's a chance that this was your running flat, which is super ugly, all right, but sometimes it can be ugly like this. So there's a chance that it is done, and if that's the case, then you had another one also that could be done right there, as ugly as the first one. So if that's the case, then small correction, then drop. So as right now in this asset, I would go for buy setup, but I would be careful if there is small corrective structure for drops, because you have no clue if you're ready for the up move, as you can still have some small corrective part. All right, but the next big move in the higher time frame would probably be a buy. All right, so let's check out if there's corrective structure in the smaller time frame, and as of right now, I don't think so. Whenever this move will be done, so this one, whenever this move will be done, look for buys, since the bigger time frame is looking more bullish than bearish. So at least a buy. If there's a setup, you should try it. Otherwise, this one is not the best also, since we have no clue what will happen. We have no correction and no impulses, so you must wait for this asset for a setup. All right, but the next up move in the bigger time frame will probably be something like this. All right, now XMR is probably the cleanest one, to be honest. This one is clean. You have an impulse right there, you have a correction, and then whenever the setup will be done, so if it does something like this and it does a regular flat setup, this could be a beautiful trade to come and retest the top. All right, and now there's chance seeing right there, seeing this, there's chance that this is a slow move, just like this one was, and like this one. So a slow move that will come and retest the lows like this before getting another impulse. All right, so there's a chance that it does something like this, and that's why you gotta be careful on if there is a setup or not. All right, so if this comes down like this, if you see a flag and a flag like this, something like this, an impulse and a flag, you can try it out. Otherwise, if you see it goes like this and a range, not a good idea, simply because of the drop I told you. All right, so the best time to take setups like this is right there. All right, is it in this zone? Find small setups like this one was a perfect regular flat to try it out. Running flat right there. These are the best time to try this setup, as you can protect your trade as up. So most of the time when you see a beautiful setup like this, you should try them from the bottom. Now it's getting a little bit risky, but it's still doable. So for this one, this one I do think it will do a regular flat like this, then come back up. But depending on how the drop goes, this can really go down break the low before having the up move. So it's a bit sketchy. All right, now EGLD, this one, let me see. Yeah, this one you had a correction right there, so that correction is done. You have an up move. There is chance that you get another up move like this to complete this one. Then you have another drop. All right, if that's a running flat that you have like this can go up and come back down. All right, now let me check this, the bigger time frame, because you're pretty you're pretty in the lows, and there's this running flat to complete. So yeah, like I said, this one I do think it will come up to a running flat like this and then come back down. So I would be looking for ups, and if it keeps ranging like this, then it can go down before having that up move. So we'll see it, but the next big move is probably an up move. And now DOT is looking kind of good. I like when I see a crypto that does something like this, so that does not go on straight line but does go on smaller, on crawling. And because of that, let me check in the smaller time frame, because we could see an up move potential. Now you had this running flat, which is pretty clean, that came down. So this is a true wave correction for the drop that came and break the down the lows again. So as of right now, I'll be looking for buy setup. This is a crawling move, and this looks like you're losing in momentum. So you'll probably see an up move and a flag, and that will start a new trend. So for at least a bigger correction, so at least something like this, you know, and before you get a drop again, or at best it will be simply a new trend in the higher time frame. So something like this that will trend like in the higher time frame. Otherwise, yeah, it can be a smaller correction. So that's why when you try buy setups in this zone, you got to be careful, because it's either a correction like this or a bigger one. So either way, you want to be in the buy from the bottom. So yeah, look for buy setups for DOT. DOGE, for this one, you had this drop, this true wave correction right there, regular flat, another drop, right? So let me do it cleaner. So true wave correction right there, then a drop. All right, I do think the drop will come and break this low. All right, so this is what will happen most of the time. So this will probably lead to break the low, and whenever the low is broken, you should look for buy setups, as it will probably go for a new structure. Litecoin, this one is a correction. All right, it is not done. You can have an up move, a down move, and a drop, but this is looking like a range correction for another drop that will come and retest the lows somewhere soon. All right, if it doesn't, it's because you'll see an up move and a flag looking like this. All right, so if it does do something like this, then it's up. All right, but seeing this has a lot of probability to just simply go down. All right, and AVAX, so for this one, it looks a little bit like DOT. Yeah, a little bit like DOT. You had this correction. All right, it can be this running flat, looks pretty ugly. Yeah, it's probably a running flat, so this, but it looks super ugly. But either way, you have this small correction and you have this up move that is left, and you can probably expect an up move for that one and then a drop. So just like EGLD and like DOT, I think not DOT is different, but yeah, just like EGLD, you can expect an up and a drop to complete this running flat. So that what will be happening most of the time. So I'll be looking at this for AVAX. So for S&P, this one is looking like it's going down. So I expect this one to come and retest the lows. Right now you can see a pretty small setup. I think it's, if it keeps ranging, this should come and retest the low at least. The reason why is because this is to me a correction. All right, so this is a simple correction to come and retest the low. Now depending on how far it goes, it can be the end of this move. All right, so this can come and retest the top. But if it goes deeper, this means that you can expect a true wave correction, all right? So a bigger move. In both cases, we'll see it, but depending on how low it goes, you will expect different scenario. But for this one, just keep in mind that it's going down to retest the low, and this should be your main focus right now. Nasdaq, same thing, almost the same structure. So for this one, you actually have two scenarios for this one in the smaller picture. So you can see a flag right there for a drop, which is the one I'm expecting right now. But there's also chance that you get another spike, break the top, and then drop. All right, I would not be convinced about this one, but there's chance that it happens, so you got to keep it in mind. But what I do think will happen is that drop and retest the low, and depending on how low it goes, it can change the structure as well. So this might be the first part of a correction instead of being a simple flag. All right, so we'll see it, and it depends on how low it goes, just like S&P. All right, almost the same structure, but S&P is less developed than Nasdaq, so we'll see it. All right, DXY, for DXY, just like this one, I do think that this is looking like an end of a structure or similar to it, so I would not get into the sell right now. But you got to keep in mind that it's a sell that we're looking up for the bigger time frame. So wait for a setup. All right, wait for a setup, something like this, then you can try to ride for the sell, because yeah, the bigger time frame is definitely a sell. So I'll be looking at it something like this, because this move is too corrective. So this will be a sell, but wait for the setup. USOIL, so this one is probably going to retest the top somewhere soon, because of this move being an impulse and this being the correction. Now, is it ready to go up as of right now? I don't think so. I think we will have a reaction on this trend line right there. So I don't usually do that, but you got to keep in mind that yeah, you can have a reaction on this trend line or near, but the thing you're looking for is a correction right there. All right, so a correction, and if the correction is big enough to come near the top, this can turn out to be a flag, a flat, a regular flat, so a correction that will lead to break the top. All right, so the first piece you need is that correction, so you'll wait for that correction before trying to sell it, and whenever the move's complete, you can try to buy it. All right, so for this one, like I said, probably an up move and down move afterwards, so something like this. Now gold is pretty clean, but you gotta be careful. So this one is a pretty clean setup to come and retest the top. All right, it's a regular flat, super clean one. This should come and break the top, but after the top is being broken, you got to keep in mind that you have a down move right there, and you can end up having another down move to complete a bigger structure, which is a running flat. All right, bigger corrective structure before having another up move. So this is super clean. All right, if it does play like this, it's super clean, and we'll expect a drop and an up move. So for silver as well is clean. Did it break the top? It did. So there's a chance that this is correction to come and break the top. All right, if it does happen, you got to be careful, because this will probably come back down. All right, I don't know from the data if the move comes from the bottom. If it does come from the bottom, then you should have a drop. If it does not, then this can probably come back and break the top. But yeah, since I don't have them, I cannot be sure of that. But in the smaller time frame, what we can see, I'll go on the 4-hour chart, so it's better. Yeah, this move is losing momentum. Wait for a correction before you buy the next move up. All right, so if this breaks the top, if the target is to come break the top, which I think it is, you should be waiting for a correction in order to get in. So Tesla, many people are wondering what will happen. To me, it is clear. Just like I said for S&P and Nasdaq, where we are somewhere in there. I said that you're looking for a sell to come and at least retest the low, alright, for Nasdaq and S&P. And if it comes deeper, that means that this is not a correction, but this is an A move, so the first part of your 3-wave correction. And if that's the case, you'll be waiting for another up move slow, something like this, and then a down move before having an up move, alright, if that's a regular flat, which is one of those for 3-wave correction. So I'm waiting for something like this. To make it simple, there will be a slow move up that will correct all this thing, alright, so there will be people buying this, and a slow move up will happen until a sellout again and an up move. So I'm waiting for a bigger correction, alright, and that's exactly like S&P and Nasdaq. If Nasdaq and S&P goes down after tagging this low, goes down deeper, then same thing will happen. You'll be looking for a bigger correction. Otherwise, and let me go back to them. Otherwise, yeah, just like this. Otherwise, this can be a simple correction to come and retest the top. But like I said, if it goes deeper, it's gonna be a bigger correction. All right. Now Apple, this is to me, this could be an up move right there if that's a complete structure that is completed. Now, if we take it closely, there's chance that it is not complete, and there's chance that you get an up move, completes this running flat, then a down move again, and then an up move. All right, so it will be a bigger 3-wave correction, something like this. All right, so when you look closely, that's what you can see. Now again, and just like Tesla, if it goes deeper, then this can be a bigger correction, and the reason why is that those impulses are too impulsive. All right, those moves are too impulsive, and you don't have a big correction for those moves, and that's when the bigger correction is meant to happen, is when you have some big move like this. All right, because even if that move comes and tag the top, you'll get the bigger correction somewhere. All right, somewhere soon you'll get it. So now it's just a matter of knowing if that's the correction right now, a bigger one, or if it's not. All right, so for Tesla, it's clear that you're going for a bigger correction. So when you look at this, it's clear that you're going for the bigger correction. All right, but for the others, it's not clear enough. So that's why there's a scenario that you go for a new top before having the bigger correction, or that you get it right now after that slow move up. So that's why we're going to be careful in the smaller time frame. Be careful if that's it goes like this, and if it dips deeper, then that's a bigger correction. All right, for Apple, yeah, Apple, this one, same thing as Tesla. It dipped too much, so it's probably a bigger correction before having an up move. All right, so this is the part that you don't want to be in, because this will take quite some time. Google, this one also is a bigger correction, but this one can stop somewhere in there and then make your bigger 3-wave correction. So this one can be a bigger correction, but not bigger than the others. Maybe similar but not bigger. So we'll see. If it dips more, then it's a bigger correction, but either way, this is the first part of your correction, and it will take quite some time. All right, so be careful in this zone. It's probably better to just wait before accumulating some. Somewhere in there in the smaller time frame, it's worth it to buy some, but most of the time you'll be waiting for those 3-wave correction to be completed, so you don't have to wait all this time. Twitter. So Twitter, you can see right there a clean regular flat. So 1 2 3 right there. After that impulse, a clean correction, another impulse, and right now I think this is a regular flat. You'll probably have a sell. After the sell, we're looking for a bigger move. All right, so let's focus on the sell and then look for a bigger move. Amazon, same thing, bigger correction. So slow move up, then drop, and then up to come and retest the top. But yeah, we should focus on the slow move up first. So seeing if there is an end of a structure, something crawling, then look for a slow move up. All right. Microsoft, this one also. So all these one needs a correction like this. All right, they need that. So same thing, when you had that drop, you were waiting for a bigger slow move, another drop to complete this structure. All right, same thing that we have right there. So if I simply not this one, but if I copy it like this and do that, so if I do something like this, we're going in the daily, and let me remove that. So if I copy it, maybe the weekly, or actually the monthly, if I copy it, it goes like this. All right, so you want that bigger correction. All right, so it will take some time before you get the other up move, and there's still things yet to come. So there's still moves yet to come. You'll probably be trading this inside that correction, but if you want to get in for the long term as an investment, you should be waiting for those lows. All right, those two lows are the one that you should focus on. So the first one is before you get that corrective structure, and the second one is after. So the first one is soon, and the second one will be later. So that's if you want to get in for the long term. But if you're holding some Microsoft, be careful, because even if this correction ends and comes and break the top, you'll have the bigger one really soon. All right, it's just a matter of trigger and a matter of time. So that's about it for stocks. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, comment down below, leave a like, and share it with your friends. You can also find the link of my Discord community in the description. If you have any question, or if you want to share your analysis, I am always there and answering everyone. So be sure to join the Discord link below, and I'll see you in the next video. There's many things to come for 2023, so be active, because this time I will not disappoint, and see you in my next video.